guys, how's it going? So today's review is going to be on the Yoyofactory ND. So this thing, super sick design, super cool, super interesting. I won it in an ANYC prize pack, and Yoyofactory was one of the sponsors. So sick video, basically sponsored by Yoyofactory, I'm not even sure. But yeah, this is the signature yo-yo of Nate Daly, and he's been like a top 3, top 2 kind of contender at US Nationals. He's been up there for a really long time. He had a string snap this year, but super curious to see how his signature model plays. So, you guys ready? Let's check this thing out. Okay, so this is the ND Ultra. As you can see here, it's got 2 kind of parts. It's got there, that basically looks like Yoyofactory's kind of like symbol thing there. And it's got the ND Ultra kind of symbol there. Nothing on the face, which makes it really sick for finger grinds. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look. So, in terms of its diameter, it's got a relatively large diameter of 56.65 millimeters, okay? So that thing, pretty large. Not the largest, not the smallest, kind of one of the larger yo-yos in the general kind of market right now. If you take a look at its width, the width is around 55.70 millimeters. That is pretty wide. Super wide. That's wider than the Edge, I'm pretty sure, and that's wider than most yo-yos I've seen. So yeah, in terms of like the normal realms, this is quite a wide yo-yo. Its body is made from the Ultra metal, as Yoyofactory likes to call it. So Ultra meaning 7068. So this is a really strong metal in comparisons to its weight. So I think it's like, they advertise it that it's like stronger and lighter than titanium, something like that. So basically weight distribution should be pretty easy on this thing. And generally it also has a weight of 63.9 grams. So 63 grams is pretty light, super light, and I think that's just them taking advantage of this new metal. Alright, so how does this thing play? Now before I get on with the rest of this review, I really want to say that when I first got this yo-yo, it was dead smooth. It was, now I literally mean this, the smoothest yo-yo I had ever tried. It was a 10 out of 10, dead smooth. But you guys know me, how I treat yo-yos. Tried to do a Texas Cowboy with it, kind of failed, misaligned the axle a little bit, so now it vibes. But just want to put it out there, when I first got this yo-yo, it was super smooth. In fact, this is how smooth it was. Vu got an ND Ultra as well, and he tried to tune his out to get it smoother than mine, but he couldn't do it. That is how smooth this yo-yo was. Okay, so how does it play? At first throw, this thing is magical. It feels light, it feels fast, it feels easy to catch, it feels stable, and it just generally feels like one of those yo-yos that you can play with for a really long time. Compete with it, piece of cake. Not only is it fun to play with, it's also cool to compete with. That was my first impression of this yo-yo. Absolute dream, like solid yo-yo. Best in the, like one of the best yo-yos I've ever tried. However, if you start to lengthen out your time and play with it, it starts to reveal a bit of chinks in the armor. So it's kind of cool in a way that when I first got this yo-yo, I didn't get it in an unboxing setting. Because if I had got it in an unboxing setting, I would have been like, damn, this thing's the coolest, it's the best, 100%. After I played with this thing for a couple of days, and this doesn't always happen, right? But sometimes it does, it starts to reveal some of its weaknesses. So, what are its weaknesses? Around day 2, me and Vu met up, and I decided to take out my ND to try and kind of yo-yo around. And one thing I noticed is that it's really unstable. So, by unstable I mean that if you don't land this thing absolutely perfectly, it'll kind of misalign off its axis, and you have to like compensate with a string to kind of push it back into the realms of like completely, yeah, basically just straighten it out again. Which also eats into its spin time. So if you're playing with this thing, right, and you got a lot of technical wraps and you're going around, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time realigning this yo-yo so it spins straight, it eats into spin time, and it makes this yo-yo kind of feel like a really smooth Delrin yo-yo that weight distribution just wasn't quite right. The stability factor is really annoying because when you're really trying to push this thing to its gun, it's easy to catch and it's light as well, but its stability is just lacking that tiny bit. So yeah, stability and short spin time kind of go hand in hand. So that was my first kind of gripe with this yo-yo. Other thing I really like about it, if we're gonna do a bit of a contrast, it's not specifically designed for finger spin. So you can see there, it's not gonna last for very long. It's no skiver, it's no finger spin, but there's no laser engravings on the face of this thing. So, whoa, whoops. But that means you can like basically just finger spin with this thing as is with no interference. Okay? Really like the minimalistic branding of this yo-yo. It makes it very, very elegant. Another thing that this yo-yo is pretty good at is big wide shape, big catch zone in the area there makes this thing super good for horizontal. So even though it has stability issues, when you throw this thing horizontally, you'll notice that it's very, very nice, very, very long lasting, and it can be played horizontally really, really well. If its bearing holds up. So yeah, not sure what's happening there. It's really hot right now, so my hands are kind of sticky. But I think this yo-yo's biggest weakness, as well as its kind of biggest letdown, is the stability and spin time factor. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the ND. Now, a few of you may think that my playability critiques may have been a bit harsh, and to be honest, it's not super unstable. It's unstable, and it's noticeably unstable, but it's not like, you know, you don't land the trapeze properly, it spins out of control or anything. It's just unstable enough for me to not particularly enjoy doing some of my combos with this. Now, I kind of like to put out a comparison. The ND is a yo-yo that kind of speaks to a similar frame of mind as the Edge, right? Now the Edge, if you guys like the Edge, you're gonna love the ND. It's basically a very similar kind of yo-yo. And with the Edge, I said that it was a bit unstable, right? Which is why I didn't have any competition appeal to me, but the Edge is probably one of the most popular competition yo-yos on the market right now, with basically, I think it's Yoyofactory's most popular competition yo-yo. So, when I say that this thing is unstable, it is, to my opinion, but it may be stable enough for you. Play with your Edge, kind of play around, feel that kind of vibe, and that's what you're gonna get with the ND. Okay? So yeah, any comments, questions, and criticisms, post them down below, and I will see you guys for the next video.